And what you're doing, which is what I've been saying to you for a little while, is you're sitting in the box seat. You're just watching everything that's happening. That's what's happening. You're just watching everything that's occurring. Not judging it most of the time from what you're telling me. Just aware of it, everything. Thoughts, what's going on around you. Yeah? Even the idea that, you know, sometimes the livingness or sometimes life isn't ideal. Yeah? You're aware of that too. You're aware of that. You're even aware of that thought popping up. There's an awareness of that. Yeah. Now, at some point, Ben, instead of the attention being focused outwards, becoming aware of what you're not and seeing everything just spontaneously bursting into existence, even if it's a bird flying by or a leaf falling off a tree or thoughts that may come through or an energy or a feeling that might come up in the body. Yeah. They're all objective. All of it is objective. Yeah. At some point, whilst you're sitting in that box seat, there becomes you become more and more and more and more aware of that is sitting in the box seat, instead of all the other stuff that's being observed. So that's that I think you've heard me say that before. That's that 180-degree turn that just happens. And it does. It just happens. You're right. There's no me there. You can't do anything. Yeah. But you're at a point where you're observing. There's seeing, looking happening. Yeah. But it's still all in the, or still, rather, it's still all towards the objective. Yeah. Which is fine. At least you're in the box seat. Yeah. That's a humongous step, because you don't personalize everything when you're sitting in the box seat. You just kind of watch it like a passive observer, if you like. Yeah. And simply by abiding there, eventually what will happen is, instead of all of the attention or the awareing, if you like, going to the objective, it starts to turn and becomes aware of itself. And that just happens. Can't force it, can't make it happen, not possible, can't. Yeah. But at least we've got the awareness sitting in the box seat. That's a huge step. That's a huge, huge step. Now all I would say to you is, and I've planted the seed even just by having this conversation with you. Yeah. But up to this point, the awareing or the attention, if you like, is still going out towards the objective. Anything, I don't care what it is. I don't care what it is. Anything that you can be aware of is objective. I don't care what it is. Anything. Yeah? It's got to be separate from it to be aware of it. It's got to be objective or an object as such. Yeah. But at some point, it's kind of like, and from what you're saying, it sounds like you're close. You get to a point where it's, I don't know, it's almost like you lose interest in the objective.
Well, you said before that you can't make it happen. And I think that slowly kind of is in the process of dawning on me.
That's
because
exactly what I'm saying.
It was like, you say talked about planting seeds, and I kind of feel like that's what's been happening the whole time we've been having these dialogues. There's also probably, I don't know why I've asked to talk today, but maybe that's why. Because
you didn't ask.
I don't have questions.
Yeah, but what my point is, you didn't ask. There is no to ask. So this also just happened.
Yeah. Well, just that it makes it hard to talk about. I don't want to just avoid pronouns for the sake of it.
Granted, yeah. Even with the situation with you suggesting I go to the Cairo, that was kind of like, that's just life taking care of itself, you know what I mean? It wasn't like Terry thinks this and Ben thinks this and then this is going to be tried and this, it's like that, it's none of that, it's just like, okay, this is how life is taking care of things. Yeah.
And if that's what needs to be done, that's what needs to be done. And that's what will happen.
Yeah.
So
even when even when I suggested you go to this particular Cairo, this person that I know, that just popped out of me spontaneously in that moment. Boom.
Yeah. It's just it taking care of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, that's it. There isn't like this hierarchy of spiritual practices or this hierarchy of what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing, or that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is.
Yeah, no. You do know. You do know. Absolutely, you know. You do know. It's just not this knowing.
Right. Yeah.
A huge difference. Like they're worlds apart. There's a trust that's there's a trust that's starting to come up in you. And that's innate. It's not coming from there, let me tell you. It won't trust anything. Only itself.
Yeah.
And the irony,
I mean, it's just doubts and disappointment. You know what I mean? It's just like it just likes to doubt, and it just likes to have spiritual experiences and then be disappointed by them. It's like
it's a petulant 4 or 5-year-old. It really is. The way it behaves, it is. It's just a petulant 4 or 5-year-old, stamping its feet, throwing things around the room because it can't get its own way and things won't go the way it wants it to. As if the 4 or 5-year-old's got any control or power. Do you know what I mean? Like, Jesus. And we do that as adults. See, in a 4 or 5-year-old, as an adult, as such, we can forgive that.
Yeah.
Oh, they don't know any better. Oh, the sweet. Oh, they must just be tired or whatever, right? But adults are doing that every day. They restrain. There's a lot of restraining going on so that they won't throw things around and stamp their feet and, cry and scream in the middle of a board meeting, an executive board meeting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But internally, what's going on in here, that's exactly what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's exactly what's happening, So, man, it can't be relied on. It can't be, it's not mature enough. It's really not. It's just not. Yeah. So, and you can see that. And I know you've already seen that. Yeah. So the trick at this point is, and then this will happen when it happens, but I'll say it, yeah. Start to become more aware of that is awareing. That is aware of everything that is objective. Man, seriously, Ben, don't waste your time with whatever's going on in there. Don't waste your time. You already know that. You know that. And you also know the answer's not in there. You know that. You totally know that. You also know this is just a dream that you have no control over whatsoever. It just happens. Yeah. You know that it's a petulant little 4 or 5-year-old that stumps its feet and can't get its own way and all that stuff. You know that. Yeah. Stop relying on it. Altogether. And I mean altogether. Yeah. Be interested in that is aware. Seriously. Yeah. So at some point, whilst you're sitting in, now here's the thing that you need to see, okay? And this comes from the last conversation that we had. You need to come to see that's sitting in the box seat that is aware of everything objective is not Ben. That needs to be seen. That's connected with what we spoke about last time, which is the idea of self hijacking awareness, hijacking the beingness, hijacking the aliveness, hijacking that intelligence, that pure innate intelligence. Yeah. See, there's a big difference, and it's great, by the way. Yeah. There's a big difference between becoming aware of that Ben thinks he's sitting in the box seat. Big difference in the attention now going there compared to Ben believing he's sitting in the box seat and the attention going to everything else. There's so much. There's so much, when you factor in all this that goes on through the day, and then people that you're interacting with, and oh my God, yeah, switching on the news and being affected by that, like Jesus, yeah. So if that's dropped, yeah. Now all you need to do is just focus on whether or not this is true. You don't have to divide Ben up to ask that question or to see if this is true. Yeah. Whereas the other way, when Ben believes he's sitting in the box seat and he's looking at all these things he's not, so much stuff. Yeah. That takes a lot of attention. But then for it to turn, and then you start to question, yeah, is this Ben sitting in the box seat? It sort of becomes one item. Is this Ben sitting in the box seat? As opposed to, what is Ben? Oh, he's not this, he's not this, he's not this, he's not this, he's not, yeah? It becomes a whole scattering of stuff that we have to become aware of that we're not. Belief systems and conditioning and all that stuff. Yeah. That's happened. That's already happened.